Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Adult Swim Yule Log, or the Fireplace. I don't know if you heard about this. I've always thought about reviewing a Yule Log thing as sort of a joke, but after Rick and Morty recently, season finale of Rick and Morty, which is a show I think people still watch, I'm a little confused about that one. They hyped up there's going to be an Adult Swim Yule Log. After a couple minutes, people realized it's not your typical Yule log, as people were walking in front of the Yule log, and suddenly it zoomed out, and you were in a horror movie. And a particularly weird horror movie directed by Casper Kelly, creator and director of Too Many Cooks. And it is an hour-and-a-half horror movie, which the Fireplace, the actual Yule log, is an important part of. Now, I want to be clear, this movie is 100% made to surprise you and have unexpected things happen and stuff like that. So I didn't premiere this, and it's just because I don't want this spoiled for anyone. I'm going to do a general review, and then I'm actually going to talk about it because I think some of you may have seen it, because I don't want to spoil it for you, because it's a lot of fun, and everyone who I've told about it have said, I don't want to tell you anything, but this is fucking insane. So it has that energy. It has that Too Many Cooks energy, because you're like, what the fuck is going on? I cannot imagine what it was like, just like, yeah, we'll just have it on for a little bit, and you're like, what is going on? And like, I love that idea. Supposedly Casper Kelly pitched this to Adult Swim because it was first going to be a 4 a.m. type thing, and then he wanted it to be something more, but they were like, well, we can't spend that much money. And because Adult Swim actually has like I've heard it called like a slush fund, basically, where they just have like access to a ton of money, so they can just like make certain of their weirder things, and that's sort of how this like slipped under the radar of HBO Max or Warner Discovery or whatever, which is amazing. And Casper Kelly got to make his feature debut. This is a very unexpected horror movie. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in it. I highly recommend it if you like Adult Swim, or if you like horror movies, or if you just like being like surprised by what's going on. Even me hyping up that there's a lot of surprises, you don't know what you're getting into. But I really do recommend the Adult Swim Yule Log. It might be my favorite Yule log I've ever seen. I don't know if that means anything to you. I have seen the oldest one that survived. The original Yule log lost me, but we won't talk about that one. You know, you warm up to a nice cozy fire and enter into the heart of madness, I guess. And I would say, you know, if you like horror and you like Yule logs, this is pretty cool. I think that's as much as I can say. It's as unexpected as Too Many Cooks in a lot of ways. And it makes me, I need to watch more Casper Kelly. I think he's done. Didn't he do Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell? It sounds like I should probably watch it. He was a writer on Mandy, the movie. Wow. Dude does a lot. Anyway, so let's get into the actual Too Many Cooks. So this opens with just the Yule log, and then it pans. We see someone walking by and, you know, vacuuming. We see blurry stuff getting in front of it, and then she's murdered. Who's this woman who I guess owns the property, this Airbnb type situation. You hear her say that on the phone. It comes up later, and she's murdered. And then the couple comes home or comes back to the Airbnb, and it zooms out, and we find out the guy, he was actually filming it for his own Yule log video. He makes Yule log videos for YouTube, which is funny that actual filming Yule logs is a part of this Yule log. Then it's double booked, which is similar to Barbarian, which apparently is just like a coincidence, which is kind of funny. I mean, I guess that is scary. You have to like figure out what to do with these strangers and like house them, and you're kind of forced into the situation. Who are they really? But I guess the horror doesn't really come from that. It's just you're stuck in that situation both times. Oh well, whatever. And then crazier stuff happens, and the Yule log itself becomes a killer, and the killers from before who are listening in happen, and aliens and all that. Apparently this was done up to the wire. They had people who work on like fancy special effects for Marvel and Fire helping with the Yule log, and they were going back in time, and the weird dimension within the Yule log itself. The thing with the A++ guy where he goes back in time, that is like some weird time jump shit right there. That is, it seems like that freaks everyone out, and that was pretty wild. I gotta say. And I guess in the plot, it's more to just show, like, this is what can happen. Him not existing and them changing the fabric of reality doesn't seem to affect the film too much, other than to say, like, there's a lot going on here, and the trauma of what happened to way back when it was, like, basically when a slave found out her son was sold to, like, a notorious evil slave owner. And so she kills her owner slash lover, I guess, who was his father. And I guess that trauma then created so much more. A lot of it you don't understand, and like I like when I don't understand fully what's going on in horror, and there's so much weird shit in this. It's like good you don't, and I feel like I could explain a lot of it, but the aliens I can't. This was so much fun, and I think you can tell Casper Kelly and Adult Swim are known more for animation, because animation very much is into, like, anything can happen. You never know what's around the corner. And this 100% plays like this. Plays also like modern horror does, where it's like playing for an audience, like it's playing for you to have fun with it. And it is having fun. You can tell they're having fun, because it sort of feels like you're getting away with something at a certain point. Like, when will this, like, what is going on with this Yule log? This isn't even a Yule log anymore. Supposedly he had the idea, and Adult Swim was a little nervous, but like, what you made for this money? And he thought originally of having the log part go on for like 2 hours, which I think is actually funnier, but I think it's like under 5 minutes. Forget exactly, but it doesn't go on too long. But then you're just entered into this insane world, and you're not sure like what you're going to leave on with it. And just the idea of, like, I think he wrapped up a bunch of stuff from his past, from his family's past, guilt and so forth, into this insane horror film. I do wonder, now that people have seen it, how many people just tell other people it and won't actually go and be able to experience this. Because I really, even if you decide to watch these spoilers or something, I really do believe part of this is the experience. I mean, like, I sort of wish I just was watching Rick and Morty then, got to experience this live, because I think it'd be amazing. I liked most of the actors. They were fine. Nobody really stuck out to me. But I think the overall insane message of this, it is a very good horror movie. I think so much of it is the stunt idea of it, and that, like, goes on, and that the log is actually haunting them and stuff. I love that element to it. And I would like to watch it again next year, because I wonder if that amazing energy can be replicated on multiple viewings and stuff like that. I hope this becomes more of a tradition, because it's such a wild concept. What if there's more behind them just filming the Yule log and starring someone who films Yule logs? This was a real interesting horror movie, and kind of remind me of the fun Adult Swim can have. As much as we talk about Warner and Cartoon Network and stuff, the random, fun, weird shit that Adult Swim does, I like all these years later, they can still pull something like this out, is just frankly amazing. I am so interested in Casper Kelly after this. Is not only did he do this and like take a Yule log and make it someone else and like trick the audience, but he also, like, between rewatching Jiminy Cooks and this, makes me rethink about him as a creative person, and like what he is doing next, what his ideas are and stuff like that. It does feel like you stepped into a weird dimension of like the real story behind the Yule logs or something like that. It's just wild. It's really wild, and it does remind me of Barbarian in other ways, in that you enter into something and you're like, oh, this is one way, and takes a hard left turn, and you're just like, holy shit, I guess I'm doing this. And like there are a lot of elements of that. A++. Whoa. This is a pretty unforgettable new Christmas classic in my mind, because you never expect what's around the corner, and trust me, you never will. And holds up in terms of this weird, insane, random, coming up on any corner kind of thing. This is kind of like the horror movie that loves to trick you and loves to be a horror movie at the same time. And, I know we're supposed to get that with Halloween Ends, but I think the Adult Swim Yule Log comes in just unexpectedly to remind you, like, what's so cool about horror movies, and also the cool idea of just realizing you've stepped into something weird and strange, and you're not exactly sure, how long and where it's going to go, and how stupid and strange this will all be. But I think at the end of it, I definitely was like, I cannot believe this is an actual real thing. And that kind of energy never leaves it. It has this energy of, this is insane that they made a Yule log horror movie. But at the end of it, you kind of think that there was more going on than just that. but at the same time, you're looking at a flaming log chasing two people, and you think maybe that's what it was the whole time, or maybe it means a lot more. But either way, there's a flaming log chasing them. And maybe this was all just a ridiculous idea in itself. So if you have seen the Adult Swim Yule Log and you'd like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.